You ever have that feeling, where your mind is just always on? It's this constant background noise of thoughts and worries and to-do lists, even when you're supposed to be kicking back and relaxing. Well, today we're going to dive right into that feeling, that sense of having a mind that just refuses to switch off. We'll look at where it comes from and what it really means.
And this quote, right here, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of the matter. It's this deep, profound exhaustion that you can't really explain. It's not like you just ran a marathon. This fatigue, it's coming from somewhere else, somewhere much deeper.
So yeah, that's what we're really unpacking in this explainer. This feeling of being constantly in motion, your mind just spinning its wheels, even when there's no real reason for it. You could almost call it a modern epidemic of mental restlessness. And thankfully, our source material gives us a fantastic way to start understanding it.
Okay, so let's get into it. What does this nonstop mental state actually feel like when you're in it? Well, the source paints a pretty vivid picture.
It can start the second you open your eyes in the morning. Your brain is already off to the races, going 1,000 miles an hour. And then there's this weird paradox. You try to rest, you try to take a break, but this wave of guilt just washes over you, telling you that you should be doing something. On top of that, there's often this low-grade, constant hum of fear and a real physical tension that just settles into your body, like a tightness in your chest or your shoulders. And sleep? Forget about it. It's not refreshing at all. You find yourself waking up over the tiniest things, like an email you might have forgotten to send.
All right, moving from that chaotic mess of feelings to an actual concept, that's a huge step. I mean, just giving something a name is the first move toward really understanding it and getting a handle on it.
And the clinical term for this state is generalized anxiety. A great way to think about it is like this. You have an internal alarm system, right? It's designed to protect you from real danger. But with generalized anxiety, that alarm gets stuck in the on position. Your mind is just constantly scanning for problems, searching for threats, even when everything is totally fine. It becomes your new normal, and you can honestly forget what it even feels like to be truly relaxed.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's the central metaphor our source uses, and it's perfect. It's not that you don't want to stop thinking or worrying. It feels like you literally can't. That pause button just isn't there, or maybe it feels like it's jammed. So if the pause button is stuck, what's jamming it? Well, our source points to a whole mix of modern-day pressures that, let's be honest, a lot of us are dealing with every single day. Now, what's so fascinating here is how all these things create a perfect storm. It's not usually one big, dramatic event. It's the slow, steady drip, drip, drip of everyday stress. It's trying to multitask all the time, which just shatters our focus. And of course, it's the endless notifications from our phones and computers. And here's why that's so powerful. Every single ping and buzz gives our brain a tiny little hit of dopamine. It literally trains us to stay in a state of permanent semi-alert, just waiting for the next notification. You add that to the huge pressure we put on ourselves to be perfect and that classic what-if spiral of thinking, and you've got a system that is just relentlessly on.
But here's the thing. This internal feeling of being stuck on doesn't just stay in your head. Oh no. As the source explains, it shows up in very real, very tangible ways, in our minds, in our bodies, and in our behaviors. So this is absolutely crucial, the mind-body connection. Mentally, you might find it almost impossible to concentrate, or maybe you feel super irritable for no reason. Physically, all that tension pops up as chronic pain in your neck, your shoulders, your jaw. It completely messes with your sleep. And behaviorally, you might find yourself compulsively checking your phone, not because it's fun, but out of this restless, anxious need to stay connected. And it all leads back to that deep, chronic fatigue we talked about at the very beginning. It's an exhaustion that sleep just can't seem to fix.
Okay, so we've described the problem, we've given it a name, and we've looked at what causes it. But here's the good news. We are not powerless here. The source actually gives us a really clear practical toolkit to start finding that pause button again.
You can think of this as a first aid kit for a totally overwhelmed mind. It all starts with just naming what's going on, and, this is key, doing it without beating yourself up. Then you actively try to reduce the noise, less screen time, a little more silence. Step 3 is about using your own body as an anchor through some simple, conscious breathing. Step 4 is a big one. Get the worries out of your head and onto paper. It helps you get some distance. Then you can try building simple, flexible routines to give your day a little predictable calm. And finally, and this is so important, recognizing when it might be time to get some support from a professional.
And this is just so powerful because it's so simple. You don't need to find an hour for meditation. The source makes it clear that just 60 seconds, 1 minute of deep, conscious breathing can be enough to send a direct signal of safety to your nervous system. It's basically a biological hack. By slowing down your exhale, you are literally telling your body, on a very deep, primal level, that you're safe. It is a tiny action with a truly huge impact.
And this, right here, is the ultimate message of hope from our source material. This state of constant alert, it does not have to be permanent. It might have become your normal, but it is not your destiny. With some intention, a little practice, and maybe some support, that pause button can absolutely be found again.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought, straight from the heart of what we've been talking about. We've seen how this whole pattern is built by thousands of tiny accumulated pressures. But what if the way out is built in the exact same way? Not with some huge grand solution, but with small intentional gestures. Could just 1 minute of breathing, maybe right now, be the very first step to reclaiming your pause?